Have you ever gazed at the moon and wondered if it's made of cheese or thought about why it changes shape every night? Ah, the moon, our closest celestial neighbor, always present and yet ever-changing. It's a beacon in the night sky, an ancient timekeeper, and a source of myths and legends that have captivated humankind for centuries. Let's start with what we know. The moon isn't made of cheese, as much as we might like to imagine it is. Instead, it's a rocky body, much like our own planet, but it's just about 1/4 the size of Earth. It's the only other place in the universe where humans have set foot, way back in the summer of 1969. Now, about those changing shapes. They're called phases, and they're all about perspective. The moon is always there, always round, but as it orbits around the Earth, we see different parts of it lit up by the sun. That's why some nights it looks like a thin crescent and others it's a bright full circle. The moon holds a special place in our everyday life too. It influences the rise and fall of the tides, and it's the reason we have months. A month, after all, is roughly the amount of time it takes for the moon to orbit the Earth. But the moon is more than just a scientific marvel. It's a muse that has inspired countless stories and beliefs. In some cultures, people see a man in the moon, while others see a woman, a rabbit, or even a toad. And then there are the tales of werewolves transforming under a full moon, or of the moon being a giant egg containing the universe. These myths and facts make the moon a fascinating celestial body, one that sparks our imagination and curiosity. And speaking of curiosity, there's a creature that's often associated with the moon in various cultures: the hare. Now that we've embarked on this lunar journey, let's introduce our next curious creature, the hare. What comes to your mind when you think of hares, their long ears or their swift jumps? It's quite intriguing, isn't it? But there's more to these fascinating creatures that meets the eye. Let's take a moment to appreciate hares. They are mammals that belong to the Leporidae family, which also includes rabbits. But don't get confused, hares are not the same as rabbits. They are larger, have longer ears, and are generally more powerful. Hares are found all over the world, inhabiting a wide range of environments, from Arctic tundra to desert landscapes. They have adapted to these environments in remarkable ways. For instance, did you know that some species of hares change their fur color with the seasons? Yes, they do. The snowshoe hare, for example, turns white in winter, allowing it to blend with the snowy landscape, and then reverts back to brown in the summer. Now let's talk about their speed. Hares are incredibly swift creatures. They can reach speeds of up to 45 miles per hour. That's faster than some cars on the road. This speed is a survival mechanism, helping them escape from predators. And have you ever wondered why hares have such long ears? Well, these long ears not only give hares their distinctive look, but also serve a crucial purpose. They help the hares hear sounds from far away, alerting them to the presence of predators. Hares are also known for their unique behavior called boxing. It may look like they are having a little fun, but this is actually a part of their mating ritual or a way for females to ward off unwanted males. So, you see, hares are not just about long ears and swift jumps. They are remarkable creatures, each with their own unique traits and adaptations, depending on their habitats. Both the moon and the hare are fascinating, aren't they? But what's the connection between them? Let's find out. Did you know that there are stories connecting the moon and the hare from different cultures around the world? Let's take a journey back in time to the ancient Orient, where a captivating tale has been passed down from generation to generation. This tale is about a noble and selfless creature, a hare, who lives on the moon. You might be scratching your head thinking, a hare? On the moon? But yes, in East Asian folklore, this is a beloved story that has been shared for centuries. Once upon a time, the man in the moon decided to visit the Earth. He disguised himself as a poor, hungry traveler and started his journey. He met a fox, a monkey, and a hare, who all decided to help the poor traveler. The fox caught a fish from the river, the monkey gathered fruits from the trees, but the hare, who only knew how to gather grass, felt helpless. The hare was saddened, thinking he had nothing to offer. But then he had an idea. He said to the traveler, "I have nothing else to give, but myself." The hare then jumped into a blazing fire to offer himself as a meal to the hungry traveler. The man in the moon, touched by the hare's selflessness and bravery, decided to reveal his true identity. He felt that such noble sacrifice should not go unrewarded. So, he took the hare to the moon to live with him. And that's why, according to this tale, when you look up at the moon, you can see the silhouette of a hare. This story is not just a tale, but a lesson of selflessness and sacrifice, reminding us of the importance of helping others, even when it's not easy. In Korea, the moon hare is often depicted with a mortar and pestle, making the elixir of life for the moon goddess. In Japan, children grow up hearing tales of the moon hare pounding mochi, a type of rice cake. And in China, the moon hare is seen as a companion to the moon goddess, Chang'e, constantly making the elixir of immortality for her. Isn't it intriguing how a single tale can take on different forms and interpretations across various cultures? The moon and the hare, two things we might not think of as connected, are woven together in these enchanting stories, reminding us of the magic that can be found in folklore. So the next time you look up at the moon, see if you can spot the brave hare, and remember the tale of its selfless act, a tale that has been shared across continents and through centuries, a tale that continues to inspire and capture the imagination. Isn't it fascinating how stories can connect two seemingly unrelated things like the moon and a hare? Beyond folklore, did you know there's a scientific connection between the moon and hares too? In the realm of science, the moon doesn't just affect the ocean's tides, it also has an effect on the behavior of certain animals. And one of those creatures happens to be the hare. Yes, you heard it right. The moon and hare share a scientific relationship that goes beyond the tales and fables. Let's delve a little deeper into the intriguing world of hares. These fascinating creatures are often seen as symbols of fertility, and there's a scientific reason behind it. Hares, like many other animals, have breeding cycles that are influenced by the moon's phases. This is known as the lunar reproductive cycle. The lunar cycle, which lasts about 28 days, is strikingly similar to the reproductive cycle of hares. Isn't that intriguing? Now, let's take a hop into the world of the full moon. Full moon nights are known for their brightness, illuminating the night sky with a magical glow. This lunar luminescence can influence the activity of hares. They become more active during full moon nights. You may wonder why. Well, hares use this extra light to their advantage. It helps them to forage for food and spot potential predators more easily. It's like their own natural night vision, but there's a flip side too. The bright light of the full moon can make hares more visible to their predators. So, they have to be extra cautious and agile. This interplay of light and darkness, risk and safety is a fascinating example of how the moon influences the life of hares. So, the next time you look up at the moon, remember the hares? They are one of the many creatures on Earth that dance to the rhythm of the lunar cycle. Their lives are intertwined with the moon in ways that are both scientifically fascinating and poetically beautiful. So, the connection between the moon and the hare is not just in stories, but in science too. So, we have traveled from the moon to the Earth, connecting dots between the moon and hares. We've delved into the mysteries of our celestial neighbor, the moon, and discovered its intriguing features and phases. We've hopped along with the hares, understanding their unique characteristics and behaviors. We've journeyed back in time to ancient folklore, unearthing the captivating tale of the lunar hare, a symbol of rebirth and immortality across different cultures. We've also explored the fascinating scientific connection between the moon and hares, revealing a synchronicity in their cycles that's nothing short of magical. Our journey may have covered vast distances and spanned centuries, but it's brought us closer to understanding the world around us and the celestial bodies that hover above. Next time when you look at the moon or see a hare, remember their unique connection and the wonderful stories and facts we've learned today. Until next time, keep exploring and stay curious.